tools and office setup, because that was a hot topic. When I put this list together, it was when I had to buy office equipment for our staff. And I basically asked myself, what is the most cost effective, but most bang for your buck equipment that you can get that could last for a good amount of years for your staff, but also one of these could also be very good for yourself too. So let's go through it, but I'll go through the more comprehensive list in a second. So first is a monitor. Let's talk about monitors. Yeah, I've been sharing it for the past couple of years. Everybody needs to have a good big monitor. Everybody has different tastes. Some people like one big giant monitor. Some people like two giant monitors. It's all good. I think it's just a matter of taste. But at the very least, I think it does make sense for everybody to have one big monitor. What are our choices? Well, you have a couple of different sizes. The minimum size I recommend is ideally either a 34-inch or a 49-inch. I went through the different variations of it, starting off with, I don't know how big it was, but like 19-inch, then 24, then 27, then 34, and 49. But every time that I went up, I did notice it increased my productivity. So I do strongly believe that bigger the monitor, as weird as it sounds, is more productive you will be. I do also feel like if you have too many monitors, it could also be counterproductive because you have too many things going on. It's something to have in mind. But for a monitor, again, some choices, the one that I have is this particular one, either a 34-inch, 49-inch, doesn't really matter which one, but something to be mindful of is the amount of hertz. This is basically the refresh rate. It's basically when you move something and when you watch a video, how fast the screens change, what that looks like. So ideally, you want to have something above 60 minimum and look for at least maybe 120. And the other thing that's important is the resolution, basically how good the monitor is. This particular one, that's the resolution. Looks like this particular one is not available, but it doesn't have to be this brand or anything like that. Just if you do some research on Amazon, the size really matters. Either 34 or 49-inch is what I recommend. Some questions that came in. Mike says, what calendar app is in your toolbar? Mike, which one? In my bookmark or down here? This particular one, I do have two things in my bookmark. These are all things that I use on a daily basis, essentially. So this one is on a weekly basis of the calendar. And the second one is this URL, which allows you to create an event very quickly. So if I want to just review it, what is that?
I was talking about your Mac toolbar.
Down here on the top, these ones.
Yeah.
I could go down the list. There's actually way more. It actually goes up to here, but this monitor doesn't show it. My monitor shows way more. Yeah, we could do a review of those. Those are like, those are make you a little bit more productive. There are some particular ones. Actually, I have one of the tabs is dedicated to those things, Mac apps. So we could go through those. Katie says, I have 3, a laptop and 2 big monitors. My laptop usually only has whatever background music I have on. Amazing. Andrea says, what do you do with your old monitors that you replace?
The carrots.
Usually the value of monitors don't last long. So maybe you could sell it for like $150, maybe $100. Like good enough. Either you give it to your team or donate it, pretty much. There isn't much to do with it. Unless if it's a crazy one, even a crazy one, like since these new monitors come out so often, it's pretty hard to sell any of them for a good amount of money because all the new ones are also not that much. So yeah. All right. So laptop, monitor, I think everybody needs to have a good one. Second most important thing is your computer. Actually, maybe your computer is more important than monitor, but your computer also is really important. Your computer is an investment and it also affects your work every single minute that you work. So it's definitely worthwhile to be able to invest in a good computer. There's 2 worlds, Windows or Mac. I'm not going to talk about which one's better, things like that. I happen to be on Mac. Mike Smith, who also lives on his computer, is on a Mac. So that could give you some indication what we think is better. But good news is just recently, just a couple of weeks ago, Apple released a Mac Mini, an updated Mac Mini. And everybody has been blown away about how good this is compared to how much it is. So if you're not happy with your computer, I would highly recommend looking into this computer. The reason why it's really good is it has the M2 chip, M1 or M2 that are both fast, doesn't matter which one, but at the very least an M chip. What an M chip does is that it's I don't know where the audio is coming from, but M chip just makes your computer much faster. I used to be on another Mac, a pretty good Mac that was an M chip. As soon as I got the M chip, I'm like, whoa, what is this? Like a whole different level of fast speed. Other thing to consideration to have in mind is the amount of memory. Memory is basically how many apps you can have open and how fast they're operating. 8 gigs is good enough as long as you're on a M2 chip. And then the other thing that really does matter a lot is the amount of space that you have, which is basically this SSD storage. If you have things stored on the cloud, then that's probably good enough. Or if you have, things stored on your computer or you have videos, then you definitely want to upgrade this to something above like 512 or even 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes. Me myself have a lot of files and I want things locally on my computer. So I do myself have at least 2 terabytes, 1 or 2 terabytes of space, which gives me ease of mind that I could always download stuff, save stuff, have as much stuff there, and I don't have to worry. If you've been on the fence, I highly, highly recommend using this as inspiration to update your computer. This is the way that this Mac Mini works is it's just a computer. You still have to plug an external monitor to it. Small little computer like this size like this, and it's great. It also says I'll put in a plug for groups like Free Geek here in Berlin. On what is this? Oh, it's a nonprofit. Very good, Joel. Also donations. That's it. That's actually a really good idea to donate it to schools. That makes total sense. Very good idea. Mike Smith shared one thing I read, but I haven't tested, is that the smaller SSD drive is not a RAID array, and therefore this access is slower. Probably doesn't matter unless you're editing video. Yeah, not relevant really for us too much. Joel says, my brother is a robotics coach for a few schools, and they're always scrounging for tech, especially older tech that they can try to learn about and use. Great idea. Definitely sharing of it's donating to schools. Garrett says, if anyone is interested, I have an extra brand new, amazing Samsung 34-inch monitor still in the box. To have place for sale on Facebook Marketplace. They're originally $399, but listed for $269. Amazing. And then if you're a MLA member, $250. Very good. Very good. Yeah, 34-inch. Samsung is a great model. It's a great brand. Yeah. So make sure you check out. You have a good monitor and a good computer. Fundamental. Going back to our required list: keyboard, mouse pad. You need particular ones, but none of these are affiliate links. I'm not showing any of this for any shape or form for affiliates, by the way. Just give me a heads up. USB hubs. If you need to connect you need to connect your devices to your computer. There's two types. Either this particular one, if your computer has a USB, then it's this one. There's a found in Facebook group post that people are like didn't know either that exists or were confused about how to connect stuff. It comes down to these two. Essentially, it depends on what inputs your computer has. Computer either has these small ones or it has these bigger ones. This is USB. This is USB-C. This is a little bit newer. And you get one of these USB hubs and you're able to basically connect different devices in different shape or form into it. So if you need that, just go to required office setup. The USB hubs, you will find that. Printer, brother, is one of the cheapest and probably one of the most dependable printers I've ever had. It's great. It's a laser printer. So you rarely have to change the laser on it. Hopefully nobody is using ink printers these days. You'll save on a lot of costs if you have one of these laser printers. Much faster, a lot more cost effective if you have these. Brother is very highly rated and most bang for your buck kind of printer you can get. Headset. Make sure your intakers have a good headset. This is a very good one. Your intakers, anybody who takes on the call needs to have a good headset. Or if your own audio, I recommend for us to have our microphone that sits on a computer. But if you're going to be talking on the phone a lot, then this could be a very good one. And scanner, the Fujitsu Scan Snap is probably the most popular one. Does anybody else have that one and have issues with it? Because ever since I got it 5 years ago, I've only had issues left and right. Armin, have you had any issues? I just recently finally dumped it. No issues? Yeah. I ended up essentially, I don't know why mine had so many issues. I have 3. Okay, great. Yeah. So if anybody, maybe it was just me then. Fujitsu ScanSnap is probably the most popular one. These particular ones quickly scans things. Issues is every time I would turn it on and scan something, I would have to do it twice. It would give me an error to go take it out, put it back in every single time. Super annoying. And then also the desktop version wasn't that great. It was like clunky. I just recently got this Epson one and it's been, more straightforward. But yeah, seems like the Snap guys aren't having issues with it, and probably this would be potentially better if you've been, okay. Yeah, positive stuff. Okay, sounds good. So those are required stuff, but let's go down the list for other stuff that is not as required, but pretty recommended. Everybody also required. Third most important thing to have is to have a good microphone. We have different options here, as from fancy as it gets to being a little bit more price conscious. I would say any of these middle ones, anywhere from $70 to $130 is a good place to be, especially this Blue Yeti and the Shure, this particular one. I think if I were to get a new, not this particular one, this one. If I were to get one at this stage, I would probably get this. Everybody needs to sound good these days. You're on Zoom meetings with your clients, prospects, wherever, you need to sound good. You can do yourself justice if you sound good. I personally use the Shure SMB7. Downside with this is probably a little bit too fancy and too much. It also requires you to buy like 1 or 2 stuff like audio processors and all these things. sounds good. It's well worth it for me, but I think it could be potentially overkill for most of us. The one that I am eyeing is there's one particular one. Just share this. It's Sennheiser. What is it called? I don't know how to. There we go. This particular one, probably as good as it gets. Is that? It's like no, right here. This is what I'm eyeing next, which is as fancy as it gets, but definitely overkill. Pankaj likes the Wave 3. Very good, Pankaj. It's $120, right in that middle price. Mike has the Samsung Bullet. Go look at that one. This one, Mike, if you have a link, share with us. And then Gary shared his link to his Samsung 34-inch watts.
Yeah, the Meteor, the silver one right there. I'm not using it today, but it's at my office, and I think it works really well. I've been pleased with it.
Well,
Super cheap, dude.
probably really good for $40, but you could probably do better if you spend a little bit more. But pretty good. It's cost effective as it gets. I'll be adding this to the list. Dude. Cool. Yeah. If you have any questions about any of these, please let me know as I'm going down the list. Then we also talked about the headset again for your that are picking up on the phone. Make sure that they sound good. Webcam. Ideally, if your computer has webcam, that's ideal. I've tested out buying the different variations of these cameras. I always came back to using the one that's on my computer. The reason is just much simpler. I don't have to set anything up. It's just right here. I open it up and I'm able to use it for that particular reason. But if you want to get really fancy, then potentially the Insta360 I think is probably the best. It's AI enabled. They just put AI in front of it. Basically allows you to like follow you along. It has all this cool little stuff. Check it out. That's a pretty expensive one, but there's other popular ones. Ideally, you want it to be 4K these days, minimum where you want to be. It's another one for $130 essentially. Again, it's like a upfront investment that you'll be able to use for 5-10 years, maybe 5 years. Yeah. Katie, if you want to share the name or the link, Logitech, that'd be great. Light, ideal light, natural light, facing a window. If not, ideally, some form of ring light or some light coming on the sides. That's all Elgato one. Pretty fancy. Also, this one I absolutely love. Desk lamp called the monitor light. I love this. For some reason, I cannot work without this light. It basically sits on my monitor and it puts the light on my entire desk. This particular brand, I think is expensive. I'm sure there's other ones, something like this. Just gives, if you love light, this is one of the best things you get. Adds a good amount of light to your desk and it just sits on your monitor, basically. Highly recommend that. If you wanted to have cool disco lights or something, that's one you could look into. Will be smart printer we talked about, scanner we talked about, standing desk. I highly, highly, highly recommend also investing in a standing desk. Doesn't have to be this particular one. Any standing desk will do as long as it's electric. I can imagine you manually sitting there using it, but just make sure that it's electric. Just measure the biggest size that you can fit into your office room and just look up that size on Amazon. It does increase your productivity. Sure. It's not only is it good for your back and your health, but also makes you present better, speak better, think better, work faster. There's a reason why I always do my presentations with things in my feet. You're a lot more open to talking, expressing yourself when you're standing. Mike built his standing desk from a bowling alley lane. Of course he did, Mike. It says, I've been trying to find a good U or L standing desk if anyone has a recommendation. U or L-shaped standing desk. You'll find some. Honestly, it doesn't matter which one you get. As long as it has good enough reviews and it's electric, you need to look for it. And then just make sure you get the right size. Just get the biggest size you can get. Stacey says, did anyone else have a learning curve with the standing desk? No, Stacey, you should use it when you're talking. Try that out. Whenever you have a meeting, just do it while you're standing. I think it's probably the best use of a standing desk when you're talking or in meetings. And you don't want to be standing the whole time either. You rotate. Some standing, some sitting. Katie says, I have a desk raiser so I can move it up and down, and I have this chair to help me keep alert when I'm sitting. Amazing, Katie. If you have a picture or something to share with us, we'd love to see that. We do have a link. Wow, that is really cool. Katie, you want to share an audio why this is good? Pretty cool. This is the list. That is pretty cool. That's the link for that. If you want that, is in the chat. There's also, looks like Jeremiah shared this with us for L-shaped. Pretty cool. Brandon shared with us. There we go. Another link for uplift desk. These particular ones, whenever you buy from a website like this, it's usually overpriced. They have to do extra marketing. If it's like listed on Amazon, you're probably going to get it at a very competitive price. This is like branding price you're paying for. Mike says you can buy the auto adjustable legs and attach them to any piece of interesting wood you find. Nice. Brandon says, I love my uplift desk, L-shaped and plenty of space. Very good. Very good. How much was it? That's what I'm wondering.
It was expensive.
Yeah. I love that. It was just, that's funny. Stacy says, when I'm in deep thoughts and typing, it impedes my concentration. Yeah, totally. Stacy, just try in different capacities while you're doing different things. Sometimes, yeah, and I feel like I need to be sitting down when I'm, as you said, in deep thought. But talking, I found it's much easier when you're standing. So good. Going down. This is one of the benefits of having a Mac and an M2 chip. You could open up as many tabs as you want, and it still doesn't slow it down. Chairs, I actually did a good amount of research to find the best bang for your buck chair. At the time when I had to decide on a chair, it wasn't that much particular one. Basically, right down the middle, pricing. These chairs could get really expensive too. Yeah, less than $200 for a really good, really, honestly, it's really good. Don't have any, I used to have severe back issues. I haven't had any severe back issues because of the chair. So yeah, my nephew's custom built mine, used the hydraulic legs from Amazon and doors to work for a commercial tour company in Rocks. Amazing, Stacy. It's really cool. Yeah, good chair. Obviously, because you're sitting on it, Armin recommends rollerblade wheels. Totally. And protects your floors. Night. Totally. If you're standing a lot and you have a standing desk, potentially floor mat, something you want to look into. Brandon agrees. Yeah, yeah. Katie says, kneeling chair forces you to stay alert and use your core muscles to keep you upright instead of leaning on the back of the chair. Has been helpful for me. Amazing, Katie. Probably takes a lot of energy to sit there. But yeah, it does, I guess, forces you to sit up upright. What else? And then, oh yeah, the touchpad, which is the Stream Deck. I still haven't got to recording this video yet, and probably requires its own explanation and things. So not getting get into it. It's like opening up a can of worms that I don't want to get into yet. Let me just create that video. Once I create that video, I guess I'll share it with you guys. I've been able to set it up just to give you guys a little. Here's how it works. Let me just, I guess, do a little gist of it. So it's a physical little, and let me know if you guys have this too. Maybe we could actually create a Stream Deck Google Doc that we could share different case uses of it with each other and then try to come up with the most optimized thing. So it looks like this. There's different sizes. I think I got the middle size, not too much. Don't need 60 buttons. This is 5 times 3 is 15. 15 is good. So not too little, not too much. And here's what it can do. So I'm just gonna actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close the stuff so I can just show you guys what it does. So when I press on these physical buttons that's sitting on my computer, the first button is what it looks like. Sure, I'm gonna put this in the chat if anybody has it and wants to find out which one this is. I'll just put it in the chat and then I'll explain it. There it is. All right, the first one is launch Google Calendar. So one shot, I'm on the phone. What is the schedule? Can we talk? Right away, I click on that. I could just see. I could talk to you Wednesday at 3 p.m. I'm on the phone. I need to create a calendar. Oh, new event. Quickly, Zoom, Mike Smith, plus Sam Mollaei, Mike Smith. I don't know where you are, but I'll just put Michael Ashuri. I have a Google Workspace Zoom integration. I don't even have to add the Zoom link in there. Bam, save, sends out the thing within 10 seconds. Next is Gmail. This button just launches my Gmail, but it also automatically goes to Sam's attention. These are only the emails that I only answer. All the emails that are unread to my attention in Gmail. So it's literally honing in only on those emails, the ones that I need to respond back to. Next is YouTube, my watch later list. Next is I have my date and time right here. I don't have just the date and time. Next is Spotify, pause and unpause music. Next is iMessage. That's my life, basically all my messages. Next is Office Light. This is IFTT, my only IFTT integration. There we go. Bam. Next is a ring light. This, just show it again. This ring light is the Elgato. Yeah, that's how I have good light. That's what that is. Next is my password manager. I click on that. My password manager quickly pops up. I'm able to search whatever I need to do. Next is Todoist, where I keep track of all the tasks that I have to do. I live on Todoist. I also live on Text Edit. Quickly take notes, save it in different places. I use that. Next, for Loom, automatically records it. I think once you do it once, automatically when you press it, it just automatically records. Right now it's recording. Once I press the button back, automatically creates that recording. Automatically records it. I think once you do it once, automatically, yeah. And last one is Zoom. Automatically basically launches Zoom. I'll make a YouTube video. I think I just went through it. I'll make a Loom video showing exactly how each of these are set up. It's pretty straightforward. Usually it's either a website that's being launched or an app that's being launched. And sometimes it's a little bit more complex. It requires explanation. So I'll try to make a video for each of these to share these. And the last thing I have is the folder right in the middle is my record video. So when I click record, or actually no, when I click on OBS, I guess I can press it from here. I'll press it from here. Once I press this OBS button, automatically launches my video recorder and it turns on my light, and then also able to press the button to restart recording and to go and picture, go back to the camera, and also go to intros and things like that. So I share with this. And I'll try to make a video to explain this whole setup. And I basically have the video recorded, the button to restart recording right there. Yeah, Alfred and Raycast. Yeah, it's a whole different world. So Mike, I guess we'll cover Alfred, which is great too. Taking your Mac and taking to the whole another world. Just with shortcuts, be able to do anything you can imagine. Yeah, I'll try to make a video to explain this. It took some time to come up with like the ones that are most valuable and the most important for us that we use on a daily basis. I think most of these will be relevant for you guys too. So just make that YouTube video and I'll explain it. All right.